Episode 20, Willis SNES. There's a lot of games out there, Josh, if the viewers don't know. A lot of Super Nintendo games a lot of people care to play. We don't get to pick those games. We have a wheel that makes us play some pretty horrible games. A few good ones here and there so far. So episode 20 comes up, Dig and Spike Volleyball. I cannot remember if I've ever played this as a child or not. Typically, when I was younger, I played a lot of sports games, so it wouldn't surprise me if I had played this. Do you have any experience with it?
Not this one, but I did play the Dead or Alive Volleyball Edition.
I do remember that. That's probably like, what, Xbox?
It was Xbox, and I think they made another one for the 360, maybe.
Okay, well, there's one thing here with Dig and Spike. This is the back of the box. Most of the boxes that we have, it's literally a paragraph or two. I've got a full page from the back of this box.
That is ridiculous.
For a volleyball game. I was just cracking
Sell
up.
me the story of volleyball.
Dig and Spike Volleyball. 2 volleyball games in one. Run to the net for a last-second block. Dive in the sand for an unbelievable save. Launch a power serve that aces right past your opponents and smash the ball into the hardwood floors with a killer spike. All this and more is yours in Dig and Spike Volleyball. Take to the courts with a 6-man team and compete against teams from all around the world, each one willing to sacrifice all for the gold. Or pick the hottest babes in 2-man teams and play for the ultimate glory on the volleyball circuit. Either game offers the thrills and challenges of pro volleyball. Master the multiple serving techniques to keep your opponent guessing. Play close to the net to block a spike right back at the other team. Choose the exact moment to sell the return into the far corner of the other side. Strategy, timing, and a little luck will take you all the way to the top in Dig and Spike Volleyball. Featuring a training mode that lets you master all the moves, blocks, serves, and more. A save feature that allows you to use the same teams repetitively. 2-player simultaneous play. You can play with a friend on your team or against him in competition. The greatest volleyball players from around the world are yours to use in the ultimate sports simulation game.
Okay.
So I will just say, there was a lot on the back of this box.
That's a lot.
One thing I did see, just kind of, like kind of Mario's Time Machine. You got a rebel flag in there, and we're in the world of pronouns now.
A lot of he's.
Well, in here I did find out it specifically said 2-player simultaneous play. You can play with a friend on your team or against him in a competition. So I guess if you're a girl, you can't play this, or you identify as somebody that is not a him. I guess they didn't want you to play this game.
Apparently not.
I mean, I felt like that was kind of strange because you literally have a mode that has men and women. But I did find it weird, too, that they refer to it as the hottest babes in the sand. I guess
they were extremely pixelated.
Yeah. I mean, but anyways, does that make you want to go dig or spike anything? Or
I'll attempt to play volleyball.
So,
let's say my volleyball career consisted of whenever you played it in high school and middle school.
So there's a little bit more to this game. I think it was 92 it came out. It was either late 92, early 93. Was developed by TOSE. I don't know if that's Tosei. Published by Hudson Soft. Both of them Japanese companies. Hudson Soft, has got the little B. I forget which games we played that they did. But the Tozy, they actually are pretty well known. I didn't know this because I don't really follow the developers that much. But they actually did a lot of the Game & Watch series.
Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah, they did some Dragon Ball series. So basically, when I looked in this company, they called it as what they would refer to as a ghost developer. Still in business. They've made over 1,000 games since 1979. And most of them, there's only a few of them they actually put themselves in a credit. There's a few that they, had a joint license with Nintendo and stuff. But their policy, which is strange, but it kind of makes sense. Their policy that was quoted is, their policy is not to have a vision, but to follow their customers' vision. So everybody, I guess, should come to him with the video game idea. They put it out there. So just a few things that they had put out there. On the Dreamcast, they did Resident Evil, Code Veronica. Did
solid game.
They did a lot of some of the not the every Resident Evil, but they were involved in some Resident Evils now, and I'm sure there's a collaboration. But this is just what they're associated with. On the Game Boy, they did a Metal Gear game on the Game Boy. Kirby, Yoshi's Cookie. On the Super Nintendo, they did a lot of sports games. They did Tetris 2. On the Nintendo, they did some heavy hitters. I mean, they did Yoshi's Cookie, Tetris 2, Chubby Cherub. That's a really expensive freaking game. Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball, which is one of our friends Nick's possibly favorite game of all time, which is expensive as well. And even up into the Switch, they did WarioWare, some of Paper Mario 2, I think it was, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy. They've teamed up with Square Enix. And across all these platforms, they did a ton of Dragon Quest games. So...
okay, you said Dragon Ball a little earlier.
Well, they did work in Dragon Ball and some they were mostly Dragon Quest, but they did have some Dragon Ball.
Some Dragon Ball Z style games, probably.
I just seen it was Dragon Ball. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z guy. I didn't go too deep into it. But I just thought it was kind of strange that...
well, I mean, by what they have, that's a solid track record.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a real solid track record.
And then each of these, they did do a lot of sports games. Like, I think on the Nintendo, I can't remember if it was Nintendo or Super Nintendo, they did Goal. They were involved in a couple of wrestling games. Kind of all over the board. I feel like they're just like, hey... If you got an idea, we'll do what we can to make it happen.
Yeah, that's it. Again, solid resume. Very solid resume.
So, I guess just the whole premise of this game, and help me, Josh, because the game's advertising itself as 2 games in one. I mean, essentially, you're playing volleyball. Yeah. Now, what they're referring to is you're either playing volleyball with a 6-man team
with a full team
on basically in a basketball gym or a volleyball. I don't know what you call it. Around here in Tennessee, it's a basketball gym. What you're playing in?
It's a gymnasium.
Okay, a gymnasium, and it's all men, 6 men versus 6 men. You pick your country and you basically battle it out. You've got game modes where you can play single player, circuit, etc. And then you've got a second game mode where it's beach volleyball, which you would think ain't going to be too much different, but it is correct when there's only 2 players in beach volleyball on each side.
It's a smaller court and everything.
But you only have the option to play as the ladies, or as they call it, the hottest babes out there on the beach in pixelated bikinis. And you basically have the same kind of setup. You could do a circuit or single game. You basically, in this one, I guess you've got a little bit more...
You have a little bit more customization.
Yeah, you got to do some training to build your team because your team's going to suck right off the bat. So you got to keep playing to basically level up, get skill points, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot going on for just a freaking volleyball game.
It's a lot.
I mean, I don't know. It's strange. It is really strange, this whole game. So I mean, once again, your whole goal of this game is to beat the other team, whether it's a single player game. If you're playing in the gym, you're playing a round robin style where you're playing against other countries and that are affiliated. I did look that they have based the men's teams off of the 1992 Olympic squads. And then once again, you do the same on the beach volleyball side, except you're playing more or less teams instead of countries, and you're leveling yourself up. So instead of playing like Finland, you're playing like the Strikers or the Bombers or some strange name like that. So if I left anything out on this, Josh, and I mean, you're just basically playing to win it all.
Yeah, you're basically just it has a weird mechanic, but overall, it's a sports game. And what do you do in sports games?
You try to win.
You want to be the best. That's all you got to do. I will say this, however. I want to see the print on the back of the balls. I want to see how big the font would have to be to fit all that on the back of the balls.
Well, it wasn't that bad. Like, when you looked at it, it didn't seem that much until you started writing it down or reading it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, there was some screenshots on there, but it was definitely trying to explain to you more than it was trying to show to you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's all I got. So let's go ahead and kick it off into what makes the game.
Well, just like this is going to be my cop out on every one of the sports games. It follows the basic rules of volleyball. You serve the ball.
It follows the basic rules of blank sport.
Yes, that is it. Now, there's going to be some that does not follow this. I know there will be. But, basically it's volleyball, and I'm not a volleyball expert. I've probably played it a few times on a camping trip or at a beach, And when I say that, it's more or less you're just hitting the ball around. It ain't like no Top Gun. I mean, if somebody spiked a ball in my face, I'd punch him in the freaking nuts is what I would do. So, there ain't no spiking. It's just trying to hit the ball over, I ain't got no ups. I can't jump up and do that. If I could, I'd go down to the Tellico Beach and start just spiking on people. But, so basically, you serve the ball. If you score score a point, then, it goes out, how would I say that? I guess if you win the volley, you score a point. If you're on defense and you win the volley, you don't get a point. You win the serve, and you got to have the serve to score the point.
Yes, and then they're broken up into matches, about like tennis or anything like that.
And it's on both game modes. So if you like volleyball, you don't have to learn anything new. I mean, and even as a casual, and I say that loosely, as I'm not even a casual volleyball fan. I'm like, I don't play volleyball. Like say,
I don't play it. I don't watch it. So.
Hard to master. Hard to be really good. Like at that level of the people who do this. But the rules are easy to learn. And then once you learn them, if you've played it in any freaking PE class or at any beach, or play similar games like badminton, any of these net games, it's the same. You know how to play, so you don't have to say, "Hey, I wonder what the rules are." So,
I will destroy people in badminton.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, it's been a while that family cookout. I kind of on an undefeated streak here. The badminton bad kittens definitely rule over here. Just saying, if you're going to come on my side of the road, you better get on the badminton bad kitten squad, or you're going to get dominated. Hey, you'll get a shuttlecock where you don't want it.
Hey, I will have to say, I got this. Me and my cousin's husband, we're the same. We're undefeated on badminton and also cornhole.
Oh, okay, all right. So another thing that it's cool about the game is you got 2 game modes. It advertises.
Yeah.
Advertises hard about having 2 games in one. Well, you kind of do.
You do get 2 games in one.
Yeah, and it is different. Now, I was just kind of sitting here thinking, and I mean, you're right. Beach volleyball, whether it's men or women's, only has 2 players, but wouldn't it be kind of crazy if you had 6 players? Because that's how I'm going to play at a beach, right?
Yeah. I'm not playing by the official Olympic rules of it.
And coming in, here's just a side question. You got these guys that are playing in the gym, and you got the girls that's typically what you see on the beach, I guess, even though I know they got men's volleyball. Who's more badass? I mean, I don't know. Does the ball come in harder, like in a gym? I feel like you're out there and there's just 2 of you guys or gals trying to knock his damn ball. And I mean, these guys and girls are just spiking it in real life in the game. I'm like, I kind of feel like the beach ones are kind of badass.
I'd have to say, I go with beach. I think that's more because have you ever tried to run on sand? True. Have you tried to jump or dive on sand?
You're giving me anxiety. I can't stand the feeling of sand. And it gets everywhere.
And then also it gets in your eyes and everything like that. So, no, I think the beach volleyball players have it rough.
Fun fact, Allie's brother wanted to go to the beach. This isn't beach volleyball related, but
You told him fuck no?
Well, we went. He got sand all in his car. The next time I seen him, I'm like, "Hey, did you get all that sand out of your car?" He said, "No, I traded it in." I said, "No, that's the car you got." And he's like, "No, I traded it in for a car of the same year or 1 year model."
Yeah.
He's like, "I couldn't stand it. I couldn't get the sand out. I didn't want to mess with it." And he was like trying to explain to me. I said, "I understand. I understand." I'm like, "I'm not."
You preach it to the choir.
Sand is like the most vile thing ever.
That and glitter.
Yes. So yeah, I guess you got to be a badass.
You have to. I mean, even taking the whole sand of it getting everywhere aspect. Running on sand sucks. Diving on sand sucks. And a ball covered in sand, what are you going to do whenever you go up to set the hit? It's going to get in your eyes.
Yeah. All right. So just
Get your mouth gonna get gritty?
Don't. You're making me sick. This is gonna make me sick. Say you're married to a volleyball player and they play on the sand, and you crawl into bed, and like their leg comes over, and that grain hits your.
You feel that sandpaper?
Oh, I couldn't do it. What would be worse? Having sand in your hair and you can't get it out, like you ain't got no ability to take a shower, and you have to deal with it, or having sand in your mouth. Which is worse?
The hair.
I don't know. I don't think I can handle sand in my mouth.
The sand in your mouth would get taken out due to saliva.
I know, but still, it's like, I don't know.
But the hair, if I had no way to get it out, you know how itchy and just horrible that would be?
I feel like it would feel like loss. Like you just constantly feel it coming out.
It would.
Oh my God. All right. So that settles it. I think you got to be a badass or
at least crazy.
Yes, to be on the sand. I don't like sand. That's just, I mean, it ain't like I'm going to step on it and throw up, but like I'm cool when I'm on the sand. I know what it feels like. When I'm in the water, I understand the sand. When I get off the sand, I don't want to feel sand no more.
Yeah, you're done. It. Like whenever you go to the showers over there, you want all that sand.
Yes.
Give me the pressure washer.
If I take that little shower over there and I'm walking off and my flip flop gets a grain of sand, I'm going back to the shower and washing my flip flop again. Like that's how bad it is for me.
First world problems.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, other than our tangent of beach volleyball players in the
and how badass they are.
You do have the 2 game modes, so that's cool. I mean, I bet that each person probably prefers one game mode over the other, and I bet maybe me and you have a different opinion on which one we think's a better game. But also, this is a part I'll put a little asterisk that I didn't play this mode, but being able to play co-op on here would be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and didn't get to play co-op. We probably should have.
Yeah.
Together, but we're like, fuck that. We don't like each other that much.
Well, yeah, and that's true.
And we're competitive, so I don't think we would have played on a team.
And I feel like it would have been far more fun to play with somebody. Like, say, you really don't have a lot of couch co-op games growing up that you could play at the same time, so I feel like that would have been pretty cool, I mean, yeah. I feel like, though, if you played it and you would just completely massacre people.
Oh, yeah.
You got it down, like, of course, everybody wants to spot the ball, and it depends on how it is, but I bet, like, if you had a guy that could just set it up, and the other guy was a spocker, you would just wreak havoc on these guys.
Yeah, and that also makes me wonder about co-op play. Like, so, I mean, okay, this is going to tie into a little of the break it for me, but also at the same time, it's got me wondering. You couldn't pick what line you controlled.
Mm-hmm.
If you were 2 players, would somebody be permanently in charge of the front and people be in charge of the back?
I don't know. I feel like me, when I think co-op, though, I'm just thinking beach. I'm not even thinking in the gym.
See, I'm thinking both. The beach, understandable, yeah.
Because in the beach, you'd be like, hey, let's fuck these guys up. Yeah. You take the net, I got the back. And it's just however the ball comes out. And so, I feel like...
See, I agree. The beach would be interesting because that is 2 players. But
so if you were in the hardwood, would you get your own 3 players or 2 players?
Yeah. Would you get your own front 3 or back 3? Would it switch? So that's what I was curious about.
I don't know. That's a good question. Now, once again, we didn't get to play the co-op. So there's that. I will say that they put a lot of effort in the game modes. Like, they advertised that they got 2 game modes. They gave you 2 game modes. Like... there was a lot of options, and say what you want about it. I feel like, and I guess this ties into, they were very optimistic about this game, and I like it. I mean, it's different. It's volleyball. It doesn't feel like anything other than volleyball, but with just some of the game modes, the aspect, having the women on the beach, the men in the hardwood, being able to play single player, co-op, playing basically your circuit, is very optimistic, and they put a lot of effort into it.
They did.
So, regardless if you say, hey, this is the best game I ever played or the worst game, you can't say it was the worst game because it was cheaply made or it wasn't well thought. Like, you could tell they put a lot of effort into this.
They try to make volleyball a playable game.
I feel like you probably had several teams, probably more teams than I would think, working on this, and just everything about it just seemed like they. Now, once again, we're talking 92, and some of the we were talking about the girls being pretty pixelated. I guess I'm really talking more game mode and gameplay is what they were actually putting the effort into.
Yeah.
I mean, the graphics is the graphics. It's going to be a little outdated, but I did think it was a pretty optimistic game. What else do you have, Josh?
I liked it overall because, you had the different serves. You had what? The underhand, overhand, the spike or whatever.
Yeah, and even that, I guess, kind of going into that, the different serves, they used every freaking button on that damn.
They did, which was awesome.
Well, and a little bit of it was not really great for me. I didn't like shifting with the bumpers, the L and R buttons. I'm not a huge volleyball fan, so I didn't care that much that I got 4 serves, or 4 different ways or 3 different ways. But they mapped every button they could. Like I say, I feel like whatever they had at their disposal, if they say, "Hey, we got a button, we're gonna map it."
Which I give them credit for. Like I said, that was awesome.
I will say one thing too that was pretty cool was like the World Tournament, where the way they had the tournament set up, even in the beach. I just thought the World Tournament was cool because it's like. I can't remember 92 if that was, I guess it was Barcelona probably where they did the Olympics. Is like, when else do you watch Finland against Brazil on indoor volleyball? You don't. Not here in the United States.
No.
But like when it's on the Olympics, by God, that's like the luge, the bobsled. They do that shit all year round. But nobody cares about it until it's the Olympics, and then you're just suckered in.
Unless it's the Jamaican bobsled team.
That is true. I mean, how many people have you heard, like, I don't know, just on a Thursday night in October go, "Hey, man, you getting that curling pay-per-view?" Like, I mean, there's just certain sports that, but like, you just came right off the Olympics. You put in these teams that you just literally the same year or year before play. And I could see if you had an imagination, which I feel like back in the Super Nintendo days, before a lot of the internet was around, you had to have a little more imagination as a kid, or you were going to be bored out of your damn mind.
Yep.
So I feel like you could put yourself in that, like, oh, this is, of course, for us, probably being like, oh, this is Americans, we're going to take on the dang Sweden or whatever, Yeah. So I did like the idea of that World Tournament. That was pretty cool.
It was, and I liked it. Like I said, I mean, the only thing... I wish they gave you a stat block whenever you chose a team.
What do you mean, like a stat block?
Like the Americans. Like, say you chose the Americans. Say they had a height advantage. Sort of like boxing. Boxing, you have a reach advantage. But on here, you have taller players, so therefore it make blocking easier.
Right. Now, and I do think they had that on like the beach side. That
as you're building your team, yes.
But like
because
I would imagine the Russians to be tall and powered. I would, and I guess this is kind of stereotyping, but the Brazilians I would expect to be super quick, really strong,
a better reactionary time,
right?
Like
Finland or somebody, I could see them being really fast, but no blocking, or like could jump or something like that. So they could have did a little better on that.
I mean that would be amazing because they gave it to you in the other game, and okay, just bring it to sports games in general. Whenever you play, say we're playing Tecmo Bowl,
right?
What's the rule?
You can't be the Raiders or what? You can't be Bo Jackson.
Yeah, you can't have Bo Jackson.
Right.
You can't have Bo Jackson, and you can't have Barry Sanders.
Right.
So, therefore, okay, it sucks, but you get it. Because they were completely unstoppable.
What about if it was like, hey, I'm going to pick Bo Jackson, but you can't have Barry Sanders? Like, that was a fight.
That's straight up.
Like, why do I not get to pick this?
Yeah, that's straight up.
We had some friends that were like unbelievable, and they'd pick the Bears and the defense with Mike Singletary.
Oh,
it was just like, I won't pick freaking Bo Jackson as long as you don't pick the Bears because I won't Mike Singletary murdering my people.
Yeah, but so like I said, I mean, to me, like there's always those teams that have that explanatory skills, and this it felt like no matter which team you chose,
was the same.
They were all the same.
Yeah, but you do have to give it the props. I guess tip our hat still in the make it because they did kind of do that in the beach, but they did miss an opportunity.
They did, and that's why this game is so hard for me. Is like, we break this down into make it and break it sections, but for every make it, there is a break it that goes exactly along with that make it.
And see, even this, like the last thing that I have, and I just kind of put it for my own part. I like playing the beach more than I like playing indoor.
I did too.
And I think general consensus is a lot of people think the beach is the weaker mode, but I was more into it. It's not because it was pixelated babes or nothing like that.
Character development for me.
It's the character. I just, even playing just a single player, one versus computer, I just like the game better. I'll go into why I didn't care for the hardcore when we get into the break it, but I just thought it was clean. I mean, the graphics were a little lacking, but it was really clean. I felt like compared to the hardwood.
Yeah. Now, and also, I will go back and just a quick little rewind a little bit. I understand about why there's no power gauges or anything like that. Stats, attributes. It's because these are based off of the Olympics. Okay. Olympics are the best of the best.
Right. Well, I guess you still call them amateur, but you're bringing your big dogs out.
Yeah, I mean, they were based off of the Olympic team, pretty much. So, like I said, they're the best of the best, and everybody in the Olympics, I guess they're like, if we send our best player against America's best player or Brazil's best player, then we're on even playing ground.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I guess you're right. If you got a dude that's 6'5" over there trying to block spikes, I would guess that any of them Olympic teams probably have guys that are 6'5" or taller. Up at
6'4", 6'5".
I would imagine that volleyball players, you're not going to have many below 6 foot players. Or you're not going to have a Muggsy Bogues out there at 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right, and I guess that's like a lot of sports, like basketball. You might have a guy that's 7 foot flat and a guy that's 6'8". They're still tall bastards. I mean, I guess it matters when you're there, looking at them. But somebody who's not even close to that height, it's the same to me. You're just really tall, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I get what they done, but I do feel like there's a missed opportunity in there, and I have a feeling that we are going to have a different break it section.
Okay. Well, I'm done with what makes it. I did like that there was effort in the game. That was probably my biggest.
100% effort was made. It was tried. It was even executed.
Yeah, and there was a lot of it that I didn't care for, but I feel like it's like when you have the wrong answer and you show your work. At least I see how you got there, even though you may be wrong in a few. That's kind of how I felt with this game. Like, there was a lot of effort in it. I couldn't say it was lazy. Maybe not the game for me. Maybe. I don't know. Jumping into the break it. First things, there was a lot that was not even the gameplay that was hard to get past. I'll go ahead and just throw it out there. The graphics aren't great by any means. Now, you're old Super Nintendo, so that's low-hanging fruit. You could probably say that on every game, roughly. But two things, well, actually, there's quite a few, but not a fan of the music. I didn't like the music. There was sections where the music wasn't even... I wanted a little bit of, like, the music and the gameplay. It really wasn't, because all I heard to go in with the music is that damn whistle. When I was inside the court, I can't remember. I think they had it on the beach too, but I absolutely hated hearing that whistle. I mean, I felt like I should have had like to me, what I had going in my mind, whether it's right or wrong, was like some old school like Double Dragon music. Like that's what I wanted to hear while I'm playing volleyball here. But that might be me.
You wanted intense boss style music.
I'm thinking like some Mega Man style volleyball or like Mega Man soccer. Like that's what I got in my mind. I need something kind of help me get a rally point going. And what music was there, I didn't care for.
No, I will agree. The music wasn't great. Sound effects were on point, though. I will say that. Sound effects were on point.
I hated that whistle, and I'm going to come back to the whistle on probably one of my biggest break-its. So just put a little asterisk next to that. I felt like even though they put the effort forth to make all the game modes, it was way too there was too many options. Like,
you did have a lot of choices to do.
And then if you accidentally hit the wrong button, it took you back to the start, and you had to go back through and select your options. But it's like, I understand it's like you want to play your circuit, you want to play this. Like, when you looked at it, I mean, even though the options menu wasn't as daunting as it looked, man, it was like your whole screen was, hey, I'm playing beach volleyball or I'm playing indoor volleyball, and it was a whole screen worth of options. And I'm like, no offense, because I'm sure there's volleyball is just like any other sport. There's plenty of tactics and all that. I don't want to have to think about playing freaking volleyball. I just want to hit the damn ball. I want to spike it. I want to jump down there like the world's greatest digger. And then I want to just sit there and cuss the screen. I don't want to have to think, oh, am I going to play a circuit today? Hey, do I want to play indoor and outdoor? Like, I felt like there was too much to get you caught up from just saying, hey, I just want to play. It's a volleyball game.
Yeah.
Just play volleyball.
I get that. I really do get that. And that is actually on one of my break-its, too, is there was a lot of clutter on the screen to choose what you needed. And honestly, I never once touched a training mode.
I didn't either.
I don't think that should have been there. I think we could have done without.
And I'll go ahead and tell you, you hit it, even though you're talking about a lot of clutter on the options menu. I don't think it was as bad. Maybe that's why I did like the beach volleyball more. That indoor volleyball, there was all kinds of clutter on the screen. It wasn't like, playing super putty or whatever. But with 6 people on that court, trying to put it on each side, and then you're putting a heads-up display, which that's coming next, and all of that. Man, the screen just seemed, when you were playing indoors, it just seemed really cluttered.
It was hard.
And then the HUD, I thought it sucked. Because, hey, this game played pretty quick once the gameplay was starting. Which, that's coming up next, too. I mean, it's just like one thing right into another. It's like, you can handle one of these flaws, but one flaw goes right into the next flaw. But, like, okay, so, what's your heads-up display? It's going to show you basically a makeshift court and where your people are. The court's not that damn big. I could understand it more in the beach where you only got 2 people.
Yeah.
But I never once thought, oh, hell, I hope I've got a person over here to try to dig it. It's more or less like, oh, hell, I hope I can hit the damn ball. Like, I never thought, hey, I've got a person that's nowhere close that couldn't play this game. Or that couldn't, make a play on the ball.
Couldn't save.
Maybe I can hit the button correctly and dig this, or heaven forbid, hit the damn ball to spike it. That one's coming up too, Josh. I'm getting triggered all of a sudden. But no, and then in the heads-up display, then you'd see all these guys and girls, guys moving around on the indoor, and then you had all the different colors, and I'm like, I don't even care about it. I don't even want to take the time to have to learn what the hell it's trying to tell me up here. With all the colors and stuff, no. Like, I could have, the way this game played, plus the screen movement was pretty bad.
The screen movement was definitely my worst.
I feel like the ball, when it was hit, was traveling way too fast for what the screen could put. So, I could see my 3 guys at the net. Hope to shit that my guy's in the back or somewhere there. Like, I mean, I know they're going to be close to a ball. But, so it's like, why give me a heads-up display when you can't even get the screen to really keep up with the ball as it was hit? And then, the worst thing in this whole damn game, period.
The whistle.
No, the whistle brings something. I've got a 1A and 1B. try to hit the damn ball. I hate hitting that damn ball. Like, okay, I'm a dumbass. When I serve and I throw that fucking ball up and I can't hit it, I understand I'm a dumbass. But like when you would set that ball up to be spiked, it was like this ball. I mean, it would go up in the air and your guy would jump up way too damn early.
Way too
Like
early.
he was going some Matrix style, like hanging in there. Because I mean, when you jump up and they hit the top of their jump, that's when I'm like, bam, I want to hit the button. Now, I'm not saying that I'm hitting it exactly at the right time, but you're kind of gauging that. Like any other game, when the ball comes across the plate in baseball, you hit it.
You want that connection.
Yes. And so like your guy jumps up and then the ball just hangs there. And if you hit it like a normal, I can guarantee if you never played this game, the first time that you go to hit a serve or the first time you go to hit a spike, especially a spike, if you tell me that you hit it on the first try, kiss my ass. I do not believe a damn word you tell me.
I agree 100%.
And so you do learn that the ball kind of flashes, and I guess that's a sweet spot.
It turns red.
Yeah. And so that's when you need to hit. But I'm telling you, and maybe it's the modern games that's out, not that I don't think I've played a whole lot of volleyball games since, you're not used to that guy just hovering in the air waiting on this ball to come down.
No.
And that part, I hated hitting the ball. Returning, blocking and stuff, that was okay. I mean, I was fine with playing up on and I feel like the controls I thought were pretty bad to me. I didn't like, I feel like you shouldn't have had as many options to hit the ball. Like, hey, I feel like you should have went like the tennis. Like you go with like the normal shot and like a lob shot or like a flat shot. Like I could have handled like the setup or the spike, or I guess you would just call it like a loose volley and a spike. I could have dealt with just those, and I think it would have made the game easier for me. But that's just me. But I didn't like. I do appreciate that they did map all the buttons, but I didn't care enough. I don't think there was many times I just wanted to throw an underhand serve, even if I was getting the break speed off of me, because I did suck incredibly bad at this game. Like, I'm not saying that I was good by any means, but I've got too much pride. I don't want to do a little, unless I'm playing out there at the picnic, I ain't underhanded serving. If I was able to overhand serve, I don't care if I was playing with third graders. I'd be spiking the shit. Like, I'd be throwing that thing up and just acing on them. And so, it's kind of a cataclysmic. The whole indoor section, I thought was a mess. The whole thing was.
The indoor section was bad, and I have to defend it just a little bit. I hate to say this.
Okay.
I've actually watched volleyball.
Okay.
I watched, of course, it's the Olympics.
Right.
To me, it's more based on realism. Because whenever they spike that ball towards you, you don't have enough time to react. I think that's where the luck comes in. So, I don't know if you've done this. I'm going to brag a little bit. How long did your volleys last?
They typically weren't too long. If a good volley, if they were serving, maybe I would handle it. I guess either way, I might be able to handle the ball like 2 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I went through like 5 or 6 each time.
Me.
So, let's say, I actually enjoyed the toughness of it because it was more realistic to me. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I said the clutter was a lot. The controls were, I like you said, I appreciate them using every map button that they could. Bit much. A lot of them weren't useful.
And, a lot of them to me might as well have just been dead. I'm sure somebody that knew how to play the game a lot better than me, it makes more sense. I thought of course, it's talking about these babes on the beach. It literally says if you have a friend, you can play with him. So I feel like they don't care. They were not. Of course, this is Japan too. And I don't think that they had any. I definitely think this game was geared toward dudes.
Well, also you gotta look at the time error. The time error was, who played video games?
Right, you're right.
Boys.
Yeah,
boys played video games.
Whether it's right or wrong, they would say, hey, this is a sports game. A boy will play it. A girl will play, pretty princess or whatever was the stereotype at the time.
Exactly. It's stereotype at the time. Now, that's wrong nowadays. But at the time, I could see where they got with it.
I felt like, to me, you know, I know this isn't what they're going for, but I don't know that I've ever personally, I guess just kind of a relatable thing. Not that I've played a whole lot of volleyball in my life, but I've never played a volleyball that was just 15 dudes out there. I've always played. It's like your cousin Tina and, you know, your brother's wife and all that. Like, I kind of felt like it might have been a little bit cooler. You know, even if it was in the outdoor or indoor, it don't matter. You could have kind of included everybody and, you know, had guys and girls playing together, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, I guess that
Mixed
wasn't what they were going for.
Yeah, I had mixed teams.
But, yeah, I could have, I mean, if I was a girl, I would be like, oh, I guess nobody cares if I play volleyball unless I'm in a bikini on the beach. You know, plenty of scholarship athletes, of course, that's, you know, that play indoor volleyball, men and women. I just felt like that was kind of weird to me. You know?
It was. Listen, they played to the demographic at the time. It was definitely stereotyped. But I don't want to defend it. But again, that's how it was in that time frame. Is boys played video games, girls didn't. What better way to get a young boy to play a video game than say, "Hey, there's women in bikinis."
All right, so I've got one more thing, and this is. I think all of these, I ain't going to say this is the worst. This one aggravated me the most because, like I say, the way everything went into one another, like, you know, the heads-up display, the screen not keeping up, trying to hit the ball, like, that just snowballs. So all of that makes one huge point of why this game is broken. Here's my last thing that I have, and you can follow up with anything else you have, is the whistle made me notice something. I feel like the gameplay was really quick, which was great. You know, I want to get in there. I want some action. It wasn't like, you know, so quick. It wasn't like, you know, in some games where we're like, hey, you know, you're getting attacked as soon as you get in there. No, like, once the match started, once the serve, I feel like it went by quick. But And that was to me, that was a huge plus. It's like, hey, you can basically play these points fast. But then having to wait on that damn whistle to serve. I was like, you literally have something going for you pretty good. Like, in my opinion, a good thing of the game moves quick. So, hey, if I want to play, and I know that has a save status. I don't really care about that a whole lot. But, you know, if you're going to play a tournament, you know, a lot of this is going to be repetitive gameplay.
Yeah.
So how can you mask this? By making the games quick, maybe. Because, I mean, the strategies ain't going to change a whole lot. You're playing the computer. So that whistle, every time it would make me wait 3 seconds or 5 seconds for that whistle blow to serve, it made me realize this is the worst 5 seconds of this game, or 3 seconds, and I absolutely hated it. Because the rest of the game kind of moved quick, but just actually getting that serve to set up seemed like it took forever because the game flowed pretty good without it. And so that is one of the reasons I hated that whistle so much, was it felt like it was a momentum killer. It's like, I could see hopping on here and say, hey man, I got 30 minutes. I want to knock out 3 games as quick as I can, or even 2 games. But then when I listen to this whistle over and over, and I'm hitting the button, I didn't hear the whistle. Oh, come on, where's the whistle? And I'm sitting there just constantly waiting on it. Then I'm like, you're slowing the game down too much. And that pissed me off to no end. I could not stand that one bit.
Again, I'll defend it to a point. Realism.
Well, it's not like these guys and girls are running around the court trying to get it set up. It starts the next point with everybody set up. So it's like, just give me a quick whistle, like point, blue, or whatever.
Reset.
Yes.
1 second.
Yes, I don't need to have the ball in my hand. Count to 1, 2, 3, and then hit it. Hey, I got the ball in my hand. You know, you're playing the computer, you're playing your friend. There's pause buttons, okay? Like, if I'm not ready, I could pause the damn game.
Yeah. But, I mean, it all comes back down to the realism part. Is they try to do realism, which, again, give them credit for.
I've not got anything else on what breaks this game, Josh. You have anything that you want to add into this?
I mean, no, because I thought you were going to beat up on this game about how hard it was.
Yeah, it is hard, and you did reel me back in because this is something I forgot to write down, but The hit markers, I guess. The what would you call it? The contact points were so out of whack. It wasn't even when a ball got hit and it seemed like it went through your person. Every time you hit the ball, it seemed like the ball was about 3 inches away from your person. Like, it did not look like your hand was actually hitting it.
No.
When you were diving, you didn't know. It's like, I might be like 6 feet away, but let me dive anyway. Maybe I hit the ball. Like,
sometimes you would, sometimes you wouldn't.
I feel like, in a fighting game, that would be kind of like, the damage radius. Like, the radius at which you hit the ball did not look proportionate.
No.
And the game was really freaking hard. Now, when I was playing it, the first thing that actually came to my mind was how hard Roger Clemens' baseball was. Roger Clemens was way harder than this.
Oh, yeah. I won games on this.
So, I feel like, there's definitely strategy could be played. I didn't like the game. I didn't want to play it any more than I had to be quite honest. I did like the beach volleyball side, but it was still meh at best. It was okay.
It was like I said, I agree with you. It wasn't the best game. It wasn't the worst game.
I had to force myself to play the indoors. To me, the indoors was far more unplayable.
See, I started with the indoors and finished with the circuit of beach volleyball.
Okay.
That's how I done it.
So when you were spiking one of these down, were you going, yeah, like screaming like a wild man? Like, were you into it? Or were you just like, I might win a game?
Fun fact, I couldn't do that because I was at the doctor's office with Jennifer, so I couldn't get too rowdy.
Well, you could have just said, people look at you and be like, match point, motherfucker.
I could have.
That's what you could have said. All right.
If this was like Roger Federer's tennis, I probably would have.
All right. So that's the break it. You ain't got nothing on your heart after this.
No.
All right. We got price charting. Unusually, I've got 2 fun facts for a sports game.
For not that, but a volleyball game.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe a little stretching, but there's other games that have far worse fun facts than this. And believe it or not, there is speed runs on this.
There's a speed run for this?
There is a speed run for the quickest to win a match.
To win a match.
And it seems pretty new. Just to let you know, just to tease it before we get there. Well, I guess the speed runs were all completed within the last 3 months.
Really?
So it's brand new. There's only 2 people on it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
All right, so what do you want? You want your price chart and your fun facts, your speed runs? We're going to rank at the end.
Oh, God. You've intrigued me with the speed runs.
All right.
Good names?
Maybe. One of them is more cool to me than the other, just because it's probably not meant to be cool. But there's no Lay Hulk. Just throwing that out there.
Lay Hulk doesn't touch sports games.
No, they can't bother themselves with such trivial. So the speed run was the quickest to win a match. The second place, well, I'll jump with the first place guy. First place guy is from Brazil.
Okay.
Not too surprising. Huge volleyball.
Big volleyball community.
I'm probably going to butcher the name. It's Felipe Nascimento, 83. It's Nasciento. And it's Felipe, Felipe.
Yeah,
Felipe Nascimento, 83.
Okay.
And this next guy is a U.S. guy. A lot easier to pronounce. He won a game. He has got the speed run record. He won a game in 1 minute and 11 seconds. Which...
That's ridiculous.
Yes. You can watch it on there if you want, but I didn't want to. The second guy, it might be a different pronunciation of the name. What most people would have it is Aaron 2U2. I was going with Aaron.
Aaron!
2U2.
Yeah.
Aaron. He's from Ohio. So you got somebody from Brazil, somebody from U.S. They won in 1 minute 18 seconds. So they were the only 2 speed runs. It's only been up for 3 months. I'm not speed running it, but I thought that was very strange. I was like, let me just look on speedrun, because I was about to say, well, there's no speedrun, it's a sports game. And it was not so fast, which brings in, like Roger Clemens and some of these other games we didn't do speedruns for. I know not every game has one, but anyways. You want fun facts?
Yeah.
Or do you want your price charting?
Let's do fun facts.
Okay. The first one is just kind of, hey, this is what it's called in Japan. So it's dig and spike volleyball over here in the U.S. In Japan, it's called volleyball twin.
Volleyball twin?
Yeah. I don't know where that comes from.
Okay,
I'm guessing it's just a twin games. I don't know. Twin sport. I don't know.
Okay.
I just thought that was kind of strange.
That's a little strange.
Enough to note. So the indoor teams are based off the 92 Olympiad.
Yeah.
And so there was one thing I just
Is that
thought.
the plural name for Olympians? Olympiads?
That might be what they call the actual Olympians. Yeah, it sounded good. Okay,
It did. It sounded great. That's why I'm asking. I got a little confused a little bit.
I guess instead of calling it the Olympics, you could call it the Olympiad. So what was kind of strange, and I remember this. I didn't until I was looking into this, but growing up, Russia was huge. Russia was a big-ass landmass.
Russia's still a big-ass landmass.
Well, Russia in the 92 Olympics is when Boris Yeltsin and all that stuff, they got disbanded. So that's when you got like Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, all the Slavias. So this big, instead of just calling everything Russia, it really kind of fell.
Yeah.
And so all these countries.
It was no longer Soviet Russia.
And I remember that growing up watching these Olympics, and that's when you only had 4 channels, 5 channels on your TV, is the Russians were allowed to compete as the unified team because there was no Russia. A lot of these people didn't want to be associated with Russia. They were trying to break away.
Yeah.
So even though technically in the 92 Olympics there was no Russian team, it was the unified team. And their flag was actually a flag that had the Olympic rings on it, like the 5 rings.
Yeah.
I think it was 5, maybe 6. But in this game, even though this is based off the Olympics, they still use the Russian flag instead.
I did not know that.
So that was, I thought, kind of neat. And I would say more than likely there was no Slavis. More than likely, it was probably just because, even though this was, Japanese manufacturers and released in the U.S., they're probably like, Russia's Russia. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
They're going to say, if you ask an American what Russia looks like, they're probably going to say the same thing as what it used to look like.
It's all this massive landmass.
What's not China and Asia and all that stuff,
Yeah.
that's going to be the rest is Russia.
Yeah, whatever's not China and Asian Minor.
Or they may have just been like, we've already been working on this game. We ain't changing no flag. I don't know which it was. I just thought that was kind of strange.
That is very strange. Well, that's a cool fun fact, though.
So that's all the fun facts I got. We're going to jump over to a little bit of pricing, Joshua. So, I will tell you, eBay was kind of a little bit all over the place. There wasn't no sealeds on eBay. And technically, I didn't find no complete in box. I did find a box that had the manual and everything.
No
It did not have the game.
No game.
And I did find that. But anyways, a loose copy of this. What do you think it costs, Josh?
A loose copy of Dig and Spike Volleyball. I'm gonna go $13.
You are high, brother.
I'm high.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna call it 7 then.
If you hit the single digits, you're gonna be close enough. Price charting had it at $6.69. I seen some at $3 plus shipping. I seen some that were at $10 that people were buying. I seen them as low as $5 free. They were kind of all over the place. But as long as you had a $10, I can guarantee you got a $10 bill. There's no shortage of Dig and Spikes that you can go get. I bet you could probably, if you waited at the right time, you'd buy one for $5.49, something like that. You could buy one of those with free shipping on there. There was enough of them on there.
So what that tells me is that this game was mass produced.
Well, yeah, and I mean it's a sports game, and no offense to the volleyballers,
it's not a fun game.
It's not a fun game, and volleyball is not ever in this country anyway going to be mentioned with the big sports, the hockeys. Hockey's even kind of an outcast, not as much now.
An outcast.
But when you're talking the big sports, you're
especially
in
the '90s. Yeah, hockey was an outcast.
And you're gonna say, hey, it's baseball, football, basketball. I do argue that soccer came on the scene a lot because the Super Nintendo did have some fun soccer games. But hockey.
But even then, soccer is still an outcast to this day. Besides FIFA.
And yeah, if it wasn't just for the online, if the head-to-head online never happened, I bet FIFA would not. It would have died.
Yeah, it would have died out.
But volleyball is an outcast of it. It's a sports game. Nobody's going to deny that. But I don't think, even to this day, you don't have people that are just churning out volleyball games. I don't know. You mentioned Dead or Alive. Can you mention another volleyball game that's came out? I probably couldn't. To be quite honest.
No.
I don't know that there's one on a PlayStation or Xbox store that isn't one of the two there.
No.
Maybe Outlaw Volleyball, like Outlaw Golf with volleyball.
Outlaw Golf was the shit.
And that's one of the things that sometimes a game that sucks, like golf's fun to play, pretty tough to watch. Baseball's kind of tough to watch, depending on, I guess.
Unless you watch the Savannah Bananas.
That's true. But, golf games, incredibly fun. A lot of people would say soccer is boring. Pretty fun, especially when you're playing with friends. And
soccer games are fun, I give you that. Golf games are not.
So
I didn't play golf with you and the boys whenever y'all were playing Roy McIlroy's golf.
That was fun times, man. That was fun times. I've still got some videos where we were getting completely smashed drunk playing that.
Dude, I still got videos of me and you playing Friday the 13th because we were the only assholes that played it out of all of our friends.
Right. So, complete inbox. What do you think?
Complete inbox.
Yeah.
Math, $24.
Price charting with what I was looking at, there was a few that wasn't necessarily complete on eBay. eBay, it looked like $20. Price charting had it at $20.97. Spot on. That's I'm not going to split no hairs with that. eBay had 2 sealed copies. One of them was graded, and I can't remember what the other one was. Somebody was trying to make it so special. So none of them had sold. There was only 2 sealed, though, which was weird for a sports game that was probably produced a lot. They only have 2 sealed on there. And, of course, the sealed one, they were wanting like a damn $1,000. Like, one of them, the WADA graded, they were wanting like $1,000. I was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'll give you $30 on a good day.
Yeah, and so is that going to be your pick for the sealed copy?
24, yeah.
24. Well, complete in box is 20, basically.
Oh, wait, sealed, my bad. So sealed is new.
And I'm lending it all to price charting on this.
Yeah, price charting is a little different. It messes with my math.
Maybe you should stay true to your math. Hint.
Hint. So 24.
It was $20.97 is what a complete inbox was.
Okay,
price charting.
yeah. So it'd be roughly $64-ish.
Do you think it'd be 64 even, or would there be change at it?
There'd be change.
What would just throw a change number
Just
out?
throw a change number out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the answer of life on the change.
Okay.
42.
Just so you know, you had your closest pick ever.
Fuck yeah!
You were within price charting. You were within 52 cents of hitting.
Yes! In the positive or the negative?
You were a little low.
A little low? Okay.
You said 64.42. Price charting had it at 64.94. One thing is weird. eBay's a weird place.
eBay's an extremely weird place. I don't like it.
I trust it more because people are weird, and I think price charting's a little more cookie cutter, and they don't. I like the weird. I trust it. Me personally, I trust eBay more. Price charting. If you're trying to buy a collection or something, I get that. I'll use that.
Yeah.
So on eBay, they were having, so you would have there weren't really no complete in-box ones I seen. But there was somebody that was selling basically everything. The manual, the box, the little cardboard insert. And I've thought about this because I was like, this is reasonable. I might buy a complete copy of this. And I've still not talked myself out of this.
I'm going to come in next week with you having this.
So it was everything except for the game. And they were selling it for $15. So yeah, I'm like, I can buy the game for $5. So basically, to me, that's where I came up with.
Yeah, that's $20.
You can get a complete copy for $20. So I sat there and I was just trying to look through some of these because none of them are showing up as new or when I'm typing in all the keywords. So I'm just scrolling through pages of sold stuff, trying to find a complete inbox, this and that. And then somebody's selling just the manual. And they literally paid like $9 plus $4 shipping and handling for the manual. And I'm like, you could literally bought the box. Now, mind you, that box might not have been listed. The box looked like it had been on there for a minute. But I'm like, somebody basically spent like $13, $14 on a manual. You could have literally bought the box with free shipping that had the manual in it and got the box. I mean, you were either way, you were not getting the game.
Yeah, and the cardboard inside.
Yeah, so I'm like, somebody has just about spent the same amount on
a manual
as they did the box. Now, me, of course, I'm weird. If I had everything, I just need the manual. I think I would have probably just bought the box and the manual anyway.
Yeah.
And then I would have put the manual back up there, or like if I need the manual, then I'd put the box back up there for like $15. Try to pay for. Because it was nobody else that was really selling one with a box. Period. There wasn't even a complete one. So I still can't really fathom what the hell I was looking at on there, or trying to convince myself of the correct way for me to complete this, or should I just wait until a complete one hits? $20, I'll buy a complete game. I will buy it in a heartbeat for Super Nintendo. I bought Roger Clemens. This game's better than Roger Clemens.
This game is better than Roger Clemens.
So we're going to leave it off there. It's just the weirdness of eBay that kind of blew my mind. So this is going to be our 20th game, Josh. So we're going to do something a little different next week. We're going to go back down. We're going to break this into a second season. And then we're going to... It's kind of got long where we're going 20 deep on this list. So basically, we're going to just do top 10 list. So next week, we're going to start back over with a clean slate. We're going to do 10 games. We're going to insert them into this list. That way, you don't have to hear us go through 30, 40 games at a time.
Every 11th episode, we'll come in and do like a re-ranking. We'll rank those top 10 into where we think they would sit in the overall.
So next season, when we do our 10, even though the game may be the best game for them 10 games, it may not be against the 20 games that we already have. So even though it's number 1 for that season, it may be number 5 on our list. So it doesn't change anything other than making it more palatable for the ranking.
And also, let's go ahead and clarify for them, like, if we're saying the top 10, that doesn't mean, like, say, we take these 10 and say number 1 on that list is number 7. That does not automatically put those 10 games from 7 down.
Right. And so what we're going to...
It's literally a re-ranking.
And we will go over this when we do that episode as well. Yeah. So to get into this, Josh, here is your top 19. Bear with me. This is the reason we're doing this, because this is a lot.
It's a list. It's a list.
Starting number 1 through 19. Number 1, Star Fox, Family Feud, Super Putty, Mickey and Minnie at the Circus. You got Dragon View at number 5.
Yep.
You got True Lies, Jeopardy Sports, Wild Snake, Fatal Fury 2, Mr. Nuts at number 10. Time Slip, Dracula, No Escape, Terminator, Roger Clemens at number 15. Kid Cleats, Obidus, Mario's Time Machine, and Untouchables. So you agreed with me that Roger Clemens is a worse game than that. So this is it's got to be above 15, right?
It's got to.
So, I don't know necessarily right now. I kind of have an idea where I'm going to put mine. I didn't enjoy the game, but there's worse games out there. I guess this is the testament that I didn't enjoy it, but I don't care to never play this game again, but there's other games I would rather not ever play again.
That's where I'm at too. Like I said, this game was good, but at the same time, it's not great. And I'm trying to figure out where I want to rank it between these, because it's for 100%. I would not play anything from Roger Clemens down again.
Yes,
I refuse to.
And we're pretty close. We may have the numbers a little bit different. 15 through 20 is going to be pretty much the same. Just we're splitting hairs on which one we think sucks worse. But the same 5 games are going to be there.
Yeah. And me personally, it's better than Terminator. I'd never want to play Terminator again. Or No Escape, honestly.
What do you think about Dracula?
Dracula, I don't think I would want to. Time Slip, that's where I'm at. I don't know if it's better than Time Slip right now. So, let's see here. Hang on.
If you need a minute, I can go ahead. I think I know where I'm going to put mine.
Hang on. I'm running through it in my mind right now. Time Slip. is it's a Contra knockoff. It was Gilgamesh. It was a shooter. Shooting kind of sucked.
Every time I hear time slip, I think a nip slip.
Yeah. I couldn't beat time slip without God mode. Therefore, it's gone above time slip and below Mr. Nuts. It's now my number 11.
Number 11, Dig and Spike.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to be too far off from where you're at. I've got a different reasoning, but going 1 through 19. Star Fox number 1, Jeopardy Sports, Dragon View, True Lies, Family Feud number 5, Mickey and Minnie, Wild Snake, Mr. Nuts, Time Slip, No Escape number 10, Terminator, Super Putty, Dracula, Fatal Fury 2, Roger Clemens number 15, Kid Cleats, Obidus, Mario Time Machine, and Untouchables is still the worst piece of hot garbage that I ain't gonna say across all systems. That's the worst game I think I may have played I ain't gonna say ever, but it's there.
It's the worst game I've ever played.
I mean, it's bad.
I will say that it's the worst game I've ever played.
So when I'm sitting there looking at it, it's kind of funny too, because Fatal Fury 2, if I'm remembering correctly, was in the top 100 list. It's so far down the list for me. Not my genre. I didn't like it. But it's easier for me to not like a game like a sports game and enjoy it more than a game that if I hated sports, I could see keeping Fatal Fury above it, but it's just I'd rather play a bad sports game than a bad fighting game because I like sports better than fighting.
I still think we played Fatal Fury 1, but that's me.
We have not played Fatal Fury 1. It was Fatal Fury 2.
Did you look at the podcast?
It is Fatal Fury 2. I'm standing on this hill.
Until we upload the podcast, we won't know.
So, where I'm at with it is, I did enjoy Time Slip more than this. I enjoyed No Escape. Where I'm at is, where I really did not have any fun starts at Dracula. And so that's where I'm kind of gut checking myself. And in my mind, it goes Dracula, it goes Fatal Fury, Dracula, Super Putty, Terminator. It's better than Fatal Fury. Terminator is better than it. So it comes down, is it going to be Dracula or Super Putty? I think I'd rather play Super Putty than this game. I'd rather play this game than Dracula. So you moved Dig and Spike into number 11. I'm moving it into my number 13. And it's not really... I didn't enjoy Dracula. It's just... The other games like Super Putty I didn't necessarily enjoy, but there's more playability. You're not getting stuck with the repetitiveness.
Super Putty was more wacky as well.
I give props too, because Roger Clemens was a sports game that had a lot of the same flaws that I felt like was very lazily done. If that's a word. It was just very lazy, I feel like. This game wasn't lazy. It was just weird.
Yeah.
So
the only thing Roger Clemens had for it, honestly, was the cool nicknames that they used.
Yes.
You had the Bash Bros, you had the Wizard, That was kind of interesting. But that game overall was a piece of shit, and it was impossible to beat.
And this one, to me, isn't... I wouldn't put it in the same conversation as Roger Clemens, but I couldn't defend this game. I didn't like it. I'm fine with never playing this game again. I will probably buy this complete because it's dirt cheap. And, it wasn't really that bad. It just wasn't that good.
Now, here's my question for you.
Okay, hit me with it.
What if they split these games up into 2 actual games? What if Hardwood was its own game and the beach volleyball was its own game?
So you had Dig and Spike and Dig and Spike.
The
Part
beach
2.
No, the beach edition.
Bitches at the beach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would have probably been okay with it because you know what you would have got? You would have got your attributes per team. Now, the problem is they brought over, 8 teams, 16 teams?
Yeah.
They didn't bring a whole lot of teams over for the hardwood, and there wasn't a whole lot for the
beach.
The beach. But, if you put that all together, maybe you would, you know what, you're right. You would, if you put that all together, you're probably talking 20 to 30 teams if you combine this all into one game. And that is typically what your baseball and your football games are. You're talking 20 to 32 teams. So, if you would have released the first one, I don't know which would have been it. Maybe I feel like this is in my mind, not that it makes sense. You go with the beach girls, but I feel like you still need to have a co-ed mode on there. You go to the beach girls, and then that's how I think you build Dig and Spock, even though that should be the second one, bitches at the beach. And but I feel like that's what people's going to drag in, and it's just like when you got the FIFA, and then FIFA releases like the World Cup edition FIFA, like when the Olympics came out, you could have brought them in. But if you would have focused more and you could have did your attributes, I don't really know how you would have made the gameplay not as repetitive, because to somebody who doesn't play volleyball, it looks repetitive. It's like
it's a repetitive sport.
Yes. But I mean, I do give it props that you had your round robin, you had your tournaments and all that, but maybe they could have did more. It's easy to say now because it didn't exist then. Maybe you could have did like your create a player, or maybe you could have customized names. So you could have had like your friends playing with you, or like your family or whatever. But you may be onto something. I think you might have been better served to have two different.
Because I will flat out tell you this: if it was two different video games, and it was the hardwood game, hardwood would have been definitely ranked low. Like I'm talking about, like at Terminator, and then the beach volleyball section of it. If they'd done everything like the time that it was, it'd have been ranked higher than this. It'd have been ranked in my top 10, easy.
Same as play on words. I got the name for both the games.
Oh, what you got?
Maybe a little bit phallic on both sides. You got guys at the gymnasium, bitches at the beach.
I like it.
And that could have been it.
That could have.
Of course, it was Nintendo, and they were saying if you had a friend, it wasn't going to be a girl who wanted to play with you in this.
Yeah.
So there's that. But, that's just a rabbit hole we're going down. But I think I could have probably been just as fine.
I think this game would have been more successful if they were two separate games, and they took more time building both sets.
And you're right, because there's not a lot of volleyball games. So maybe if you would have laid the groundwork, and even if you got really bad reviews, then you could work on what was bad about it.
Exactly.
Which I will say, there was 2 reviews. I didn't get too deep into it. There was I can't remember the first one, but then there was Nintendo Power. And the first review gave it like a 77 out of 100, which I feel like was very generous. The Nintendo Power gave it like a 2-point-something out of 5, which I felt like was probably very accurate.
That's more accurate, yeah.
So, but anyways, that's 20 games. We're going to start next week with a new season. Don't know what game we're going to play yet.
We'll find out, won't we?
We'll find out. And maybe I don't feel like we need a re-rank on these since we ended this season.
No. I think this re-rank, I think this is a solid list for us.
All right, 10-4. I agree with that. So we're going to come back next week with Season 2, Episode 1, which will be the 21st game that we play. And
sadly, it will be number 1.
It will be number 1. So
hope we get a good one.
Well, we got Star Fox. Our first 20 games, we got a Star Fox.
We did get a Star Fox, which I'm super excited for.
But we also got an Untouchables.
We did get an absolute Untouchables.
Anyways, we're going to end on that. We'll see you next week. See you guys.
See you, buds.